Learn to love with awareness and self-care. Todd Baratz. How to love someone without losing your mind. Forget the fairy tale and get real. We live in a world saturated with instant gratification and social media. Over the years, this has led our perceptions of love and relationships astray. We're bombarded with unrealistic expectations, quick-fix solutions, and oversimplified advice that often does more harm than good. Thankfully, there's an alternative. Instead of relentlessly searching for a fairy tale ending, we can embrace the complexities of human connection, confront our trauma, and develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and our partners. In this audio summary, you'll explore the impact of intergenerational trauma, the pitfalls of modern dating culture, and the importance of self-awareness. Along the way, you'll gain valuable insights into creating healthier, more fulfilling relationships. You'll also learn the problem with pursuing perfect love, how to navigate relationship challenges, and how embracing pain can lead to profound personal growth. Whether you're single, paired up, or somewhere in between, this speed read provides practical wisdom to help you love more authentically while maintaining your sanity. Identifying intergenerational patterns. Have you ever asked your parents why they got married? The reasons might surprise you. When the author Todd Baratz asked his mother, she replied, "I just wanted to be loved." For such a seemingly simple answer, behind it lay a hidden web of trauma, family history, and cultural expectations. No matter who you are or where you come from, your approaches to relationships and love are shaped by entrenched narratives. Your experiences, emotions, and challenges aren't isolated incidents. They're chapters in a larger story that began long before your time. Understanding this intergenerational narrative is crucial for personal growth and healthier relationships. To start understanding your own relationship patterns, you might try conducting interviews with your parents or caregivers, just like Baratz did. This can help uncover surprising insights into your family history, cultural norms, and the experiences that shaped your family's view on love and relationships. Todd, for example, discovered that his mother had married young to escape an abusive home environment. Her decision was also influenced by the societal expectations of her time, which was that love meant getting married and having children. So how can you spark the conversation with your caregivers? Start with something like, "I've been thinking about our family history lately. Would you mind sharing some stories about your childhood?" This opener can help ease into deeper discussions. Some key questions to follow up might be, what was your childhood home environment like? How did your parents express affection or resolve conflicts? Can you tell me about your first experiences with dating? By asking these questions, you'll likely uncover and begin to understand the traumas you've inherited from your family and the patterns you might unknowingly be recreating in your own life. Perhaps independence was discouraged in order to maintain unity, and staying in relationships, even abusive ones, was prioritized over individual well-being. Like the author, you may find that you respond to your partners the same way you responded to your parents, by making yourself small and never speaking up. This behavior, he learned, had also characterized his mother's relationship with her own father. Whatever you discover, don't despair. You're never truly trapped in your circumstances. By understanding your family history, recognizing inherited patterns, and owning your power to change, you can work towards more satisfying and meaningful relationships. After the honeymoon, Terry and Peter sought therapy with the author after moving in together during the COVID-19 pandemic. Previously, during the honeymoon stage of their relationship, they had lived apart, and their relationship had been easygoing and conflict-free. But the honeymoon stage abruptly ended once they moved in together, and they began arguing incessantly. Terry and Peter had come to the end of the honeymoon phase, a crucial juncture in any relationship. It's when the initial idealization of the other person fades, often leading to disillusionment. Fortunately, Terry and Peter sought counsel when this happened. Many couples don't, and end up withdrawing from one another, fighting, or even breaking up. The good news is that the transition out of the honeymoon phase doesn't have to spell doom. Instead, it can be an opportunity to develop deeper intimacy and understanding between partners if both can learn to navigate conflicts constructively and see them as chances for growth rather than threats. To that end, it's a good idea to create a relationship contract early on. This contract should preemptively address potential issues that could arise in the relationship. Perhaps it includes clauses about how you'll navigate conflicts, differences in needs and desires, and mismatched libidos. By having these conversations at the start of your relationship, you'll be better able to navigate challenges when they inevitably do come up. Another aspect to keep in mind about the honeymoon phase is that often, the qualities that attract you to a person can turn into significant challenges down the line. For example, Todd was initially drawn to his partner Alex's lighthearted, fun-loving nature and emotional expressiveness. However, as time went on, Alex's lack of self-awareness and curiosity about his own emotions began to create a distance between them. Todd found himself wishing Alex would change, but he never actually told Alex this. He had fallen into the common trap of trying to mold his partner into someone different while failing to communicate his feelings. What Todd should have done was either honor and respect Alex's differences and perceived flaws or negotiate a way to maintain a positive connection to the parts of him he did love. If, or rather when, you find yourself triggered in a relationship, as Todd was with Alex, how can you best deal with it? We'll explore this question next. Dealing with triggers as great as love can be, it also has the ability to trigger our deepest emotions and traumas. But what exactly does it mean to be triggered? When you're triggered, your brain's fight, flight, or freeze response kicks in. You become flooded with intense emotions, unable to calm down or think rationally. When you respond from that highly emotional, reactive place, a lot of unnecessary drama and chaos can ensue. Instead of reacting immediately when you get triggered in a relationship, it's important to pause and take a step back. It can help to remind yourself that your emotional reaction is likely about 30% related to the present situation and 70% tied to past experiences. This perspective can help you approach conflicts with more curiosity and compassion, both for yourself and your partner. Another tool you can use to manage triggers is to develop your self-awareness. Pay attention to your body's responses and the thoughts that arise when you feel triggered. Keep a journal or make lists to help you identify patterns in your reactive behaviors. Once you recognize your typical responses, whether that involves withdrawing, acting out, or obsessive thinking, you can start to consciously choose different, more constructive reactions. It's a good idea to share your insights about your triggers with your partner. This vulnerability can foster understanding and allow your partner to support you. However, remember that while your partner's support does help, it's ultimately your responsibility to manage your own triggers and reactions. Practicing mindfulness and grounding techniques can be invaluable. Deep breathing exercises, focusing on your senses, or using calming mantras can help bring you back to the present moment and out of reactive patterns. It's also helpful for you and your partner to have a timeout system in place, where either of you can call for a pause in heated moments to regain your composure. Remember that healing from past traumas and changing long-standing patterns takes time and patience. Be kind to yourself as you navigate this process, and consider seeking support from a therapist who can help you further explore your triggers and develop personalized coping strategies. Couples therapy can also be beneficial in learning how to navigate triggers together and strengthen your relationship. Having satisfying sex is one of the most important and common things humans do. Yet for all its significance, many of us feel confused, misinformed, and anxious about sex. Most of us receive little to no comprehensive sex education growing up. What we do learn often comes from unreliable and unrealistic sources, like pornography or movies, leading to false expectations about bodies, pleasure, and relationships. We might also internalize harmful ideas about sex being shameful or dirty. All of this can result in shame, performance anxiety, and sexual avoidance. Communication is the key for great sex, but many people struggle to talk openly about their desires and boundaries. If you find it challenging to discuss sex with your partner, consider whether past experiences of not being heard or validated are influencing your current behavior. Practice expressing your needs and listening to your partners without judgment. Remember, vulnerability can lead to deeper connection and more satisfying sexual experiences. When addressing sexual issues, it's important to look beyond the surface. Problems like difficulty with arousal or orgasm often have roots in past relational trauma or family dynamics. For instance, if you grew up in an emotionally closed-off household, you might find it hard to be vulnerable during sex. Recognizing these patterns can help you develop healthier ways of connecting. Don't fall into the trap of thinking there's one right way to have sex. What matters is finding what works for you and your partner, free from societal pressure or arbitrary rules. This might mean redefining sex beyond just penetration, incorporating toys, or exploring different forms of intimacy. The goal is mutual pleasure and connection, not living up to someone else's standards. If you're struggling with specific sexual challenges, like difficulty orgasming during partnered sex, try to replicate what works for you during solo play. Don't be afraid to communicate your needs to your partner or introduce elements that heighten your pleasure, like using a vibrator when you have sex with them. Remember, good sex requires more than just physical technique. It involves communication, boundary setting, body comfort, self-awareness, confidence, and a willingness to prioritize your own pleasure alongside your partner's. These skills take practice to develop, so be patient with yourself and your partner as you explore. Growing up, picture this. You're in a relationship, and you're constantly analyzing your partner's every action. You find yourself wondering why they haven't texted back, whether they still find you attractive, or why they can't just do the laundry like you asked. Sound familiar? This common scenario highlights a widespread issue in modern relationships, that we're often more focused on others' behavior than our own. The truth is, this is often a way of avoiding being honest with ourselves and confronting our own uncomfortable emotions. While it might feel safer in the moment to analyze your partner rather than yourself, it's ultimately harmful. Suppressing your true thoughts and feelings, however uncomfortable they might be, just puts you at war with yourself. It also sets you up for relationship failure. By focusing only on your partner's behavior, you ignore your own role in determining the dynamic of your relationship. To break free of this pattern, you can use a key concept called differentiation. Differentiation is crucial for healthy relationships. It's the ability to maintain your sense of self while staying connected to your partner even during disagreements. Well-differentiated individuals can handle conflicts without becoming overwhelmed or resentful. They navigate their relationships like two separate boats sailing side by side, rather than merging into one. A differentiated relationship balances me and us. It respects personal space as well as the intimacy holding the relationship together. But what about communication? Isn't that important too? Yes, but modern relationship advice often overemphasizes it. Communication alone won't result in relationship fulfillment. Relationship fulfillment stems from deep honesty and intimacy, which requires a willingness to be uncomfortable and hear things you might not want to hear. To move toward real intimacy, you'll need to release some big, scary beliefs. One is the expectation that your partner should validate or hold space for your emotions before theirs. In reality, it's not your partner's job to make you feel comfortable and confident. It's yours. Another belief you need to let go of is that your feelings need to be validated at all. Feelings aren't valid or invalid. Instead of thinking about them this way, you should be observing them without judgment, much like you observe the rain or the sky. A new way to approach relationships you might want to try is one that emphasizes personal responsibility and growth. You can impact your relationships by changing yourself. You don't need to wait for anyone else to change. Dealing with the end. Modern Western culture reveres the idea of love, with countless celebrations dedicated to romantic milestones like engagements, weddings, and anniversaries. But when a relationship ends, there are no rituals and no societal framework to help navigate the pain. Yet a breakup is as significant as any romantic beginning, marking a pivotal moment for personal growth and transformation. When a relationship ends, it often follows a period of intense reflection and courage. The act of letting go can be an act of self-respect and a step toward happiness. While beginnings are filled with hope, endings can bring about profound self-discovery and renewal. Each relationship, no matter its length or intensity, offers valuable lessons about ourselves and the nature of love. And the process of ending a relationship deserves as much recognition and support as its beginning. Breaking up, whether with a partner, friend, or even a place, brings inevitable discomfort. The emotional upheaval can linger for years. Because of this, it's crucial to prioritize self-care when going through a breakup. Self-care isn't just a trendy concept, it's an essential healing practice. Like recovering from surgery, it involves pain, seeking support, and allowing yourself time to heal. Sharing your pain with a trusted person, a therapist, friend, or family member, can lighten the emotional load. Breakups can trigger unexpected memories and emotions, which makes it all the more important to have a support system. Patience is essential, as is the recognition that everyone's way through loss is unique. Cultural norms often pressure people to cut off any contact with their exes. But this advice doesn't fit everyone. Maintaining a connection with an ex can sometimes provide comfort and a sense of continuity, especially for those who lack other forms of family support. Society often views such connections with skepticism. But for many, especially in the LGBTQ+ community, ex-partners remain an integral part of their chosen family. Cutting ties isn't always simple or even desirable. Each relationship's context is unique, and understanding our motivations can be more beneficial than following convention. The end of a relationship isn't about moving on or getting over it. It's about integrating the loss into your life. You grow through pain, learning about yourself and the nature of love. Embracing this journey, with all its challenges, is central to finding peace and allowing yourself to grow. Final summary: the main takeaway of this book, To How to Love Someone Without Losing Your Mind by Todd Baratz, is that modern relationships are often complicated by unrealistic expectations, lack of self-awareness, and unhelpful advice. But it is possible to engage in healthy, nourishing relationships. You can do this by understanding the impact of intergenerational trauma within your family, managing your emotional triggers, and owning your power to grow and change. Practices like communicating openly about sex, differentiating yourself from your partner, and embracing breakups as opportunities for growth can all make a profound impact on your relationships throughout life. Okay, that's it for this summary. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please take the time to subscribe. We always appreciate your feedback. See you in the next speed read. Thanks for watching.